Is it something? Purples and pinks and greens and blues and whites and yellows and orange. Go forth and prosper, I tell them. No more boundaries of anything. Sink your roots into the planet Earth. Fill the landscape. Grow enormous. Flower and spread, and let joy be unconfined. I think it must be incredibly exciting for them. Imagine the visceral thrill of sensing that kind of space, new aromas and life, a change in every way, and all of it, I pray, good.
Her garden was, in Barbara's words, a fierce inspiration. Her way of rejecting convention and living wild, a wild place to kind of drift through, and every turn with different color and form. Her intensity never changed at 5 o'clock, Barbara remembers from her 9 to 5 days. I don't understand time off work, and never have. I had so much me churning in me. Now, here I am, with all that expression possible at last, almost, and wonder if I've gotten it right. She got it right, and she got it on canvas.
I spent the entirety of yesterday and half today in the garden. It really does overwhelm me with its beauty. Then today, early to late afternoon in the gallery, where I really started painting again. It struck me tearfully that everything is coming together. I'm painting wonderfully, the garden of fierce inspiration, and I observe that, aha, this is what I've been heading for. Oh my God, how I love flowers. How will I keep from passing out? I want to paint the plants and flowers' impact on me, what it is that I see, feel, experience that produces such a powerful internal thrill when I see the form and color, and reproduce that in paint. The darkest internal shadows, the single petal hit by sun, the presence of invisible mists, animation, subtle and brilliant color, all these things. Well, today I am headed there and see that the garden I've been building is in order to do the painting, and the painting I'm doing is demanding the garden.
Barbara maintained an art gallery in Big Sur, which she called the Hawk's Perch, and would later relocate up the coast to Carmel. As an artist, was she able to make ends meet? Yes and no. Weaving in and out under the economy and trying to find a niche, Barbara used to say, is my SOP. And she understood that the distorted shapes and bold colors of expressionist art were not always appealing to those just looking for something to match the sofa and the curtains in the living room. She could even make fun of her lack of sales, like when she said,
Eventually, nice to think of being alive to see it. Someone will be collecting the work I've done into professional shots from the actual painting, and setting up museum displays and making lots of books and making up lots of nonsense about what I must have eaten that day to paint like that, and where I stood in what light, and the turn of a wrist and grasp of a brush and brand of a pigment, and my blue and green and water and sky periods, and what I really meant, not what's just obvious. Secret mystical symbolism. There will be newspaper stories about widows in farmhouses outside Paris and south of Duluth who discover a SPARHAWK used 3 decades before to wrap fish or carry the tulip bulbs through winter. And the auction of the original painting will allow her to buy her house, not face eviction, and put the 16 grandchildren through college.
Bobby Kaplan was Barbara's best friend. She attended the Pratt Institute of Art and Design in Manhattan and had recently opened her own self-designed, hand-knit clothing boutique in Greenwich Village. At first, she needed to take on extra jobs like waitressing and driving a taxi, but Bobby was soon getting contracts for custom orders with premium clients like Bonwit Teller and Saks Fifth Avenue. She kept a bowl of Oreos along with bottles of chilled champagne at the front door for visitors. She was characterized in the New York Times as a no-nonsense, square-jawed, Titian-haired beauty who illuminated the air around her. Barbara herself described Bobby as beautiful, sassy, inventive, bold, original, and talented. A class act.
A stranger who's never been caught ended that on March 11th, 1983, when Roberta was 34 years old. He walked into her Greenwich Village shop and knifed her in the heart and killed her. Front page, Daily News. Weeping that didn't end at such an impossible end. White coffin, like you'd want for a baby. I miss her every day of the week.
Like her friend Roberta, Barbara hoped to immortalize her 23-year-old son in a painting, but the emotional backlash of Trevor's fatal car accident was such that the struggle to get started on his portrait took years of false starts.
I suddenly began to rework a portrait of Trevor I started in 1996, and it was not good then. I have had the past 2 days of fluent emotional peaking and am finally getting into it in unexpected ways. It's very different from the way I normally paint. The portrait is evolving into something remarkable, and I am trying not to burden it with, and in the process free myself from, all the weighty memories. With Trevor's portrait, I'm asking him about the things I don't know. I want his time on earth to be incredibly full. He's maybe older in my portrait of him than an age he ever reached. Maybe not. He had a beautiful little body as a child and grown up. I'm working on his neck and collarbone, face, eyes, background. I was about 5 hours painting today, and it's getting very good. I want no tension in his face, a laugh that's pure joy in the presence of good company, abandoned to a near guffaw. It presents challenges to paint, several of which I have not dealt with before. And this memorializing, it extends a life I feel, that and all the lefts unsaid. Oh God, he would have loved it now. He would have loved this decade. I'm trying to get the expression just right, the mouth. I've gotten both eyes in very good shape, very pleased. More work on nose and beard. I've become involved in the side and background, mots of flowers and vines. I am always so desperately trying to give the child bouquets. Well, despite poverty at every turn, I am buoyed by the fine work on the painting of my only child, and that I will make him immortal, which he was destined for, and this close of reaching on his own. My little boy. Oh Lord, it's impossible and wrong that he died, John. It's so wrong.
Barbara once gifted 2 copies of her collection of short stories, The Gandhi Dancer, to her local Big Sur library. At the accompanying reading and signing ceremony, she sold and autographed 5 copies. But although disappointed, she was not daunted or unduly dismayed. Barbara was a realist who could appreciate the intrinsic value of her talent. She went on to publish numerous short stories, a couple of novels, and several delightfully illustrated children's books. Listen to her account of collaborating with Jardine of the Beach Boys in a story chronicling the antics of his family pig, Wilbur.
Al said at one point, "Wilbur is very vain. He thinks the world revolves around him. So I have Wilbur seeing his own face everywhere. He looks up at the sky, and the clouds are Wilbur. He looks at the large, monolithic boulders of Pfeiffer Beach and sees Wilbur. In fact, Wilbur invents an ancient uncle who traveled there a zillion years ago and never wanted to leave and turned himself into rock, which Wilbur resembles." I laugh so hard doing the illustrations for these things. They seem unbelievably funny to me. For instance, Wilbur at the beach is wearing a beach towel over his back, he sunburns, and a Carmen Miranda hat containing the morning's snacks, and all in very dignified pen and ink, black and white drawings. It's all just too fabulous, even if I am my own best audience. The rangers at the beach used to call or send the messenger to the wife. "Oh, hi, Mrs. Jardine. Your pig is at the beach, and he's blocking traffic." At one point, I show Al the drawings. He loves them. I tell him part of the story. He says, I was thinking Wilbur goes to the beach and just goes surfing." No, says me. "Al, a children's book is a chance to present your whole philosophy of life. Well, the moral is, try telling that to a guitar player."
Barbara was evangelical about living. She lived a life lit by fireflies, a life full of sparkle, a life infused with wonder, percolating with the urge to create, a life lived on the edge in pursuit of creative epiphanies. Gone now nearly a decade, will this 4-part video series immortalize her work and keep Barbara's memory alive? Likely not. She has no surviving family or close friends with a vested interest in remembering. Why bother then with this documentary? There's no good answer except perhaps simply, why not? It seems the right thing to do. Barbara loved her alone time, reveled in her creative solitude, sought out as an artist, to use her words, that screaming solitude of quiet, that crowded empty where your flesh is pressed and manipulated by vast nothingness. It seems appropriate, then, that these videos join her in that final, crowded, empty. She's gonna love it.